Coronavirus is indeed a major threat, not just to public health and business, but also to the spiritual world. Thousands and even millions are in quarantine or afraid to leave their homes, and they are not able to go out to their house of prayer, that is. To discuss more on this issue, we're joined by Meni Evan Israel, the man behind the Koran Steinsaltz Talmud. So you personally have been through a lot, I would say, in the past week or so. You were just in the States at the Library of Congress presenting a very important work that your father did, only to yourself experience quarantine by traveling internationally.
Yes, I couldn't go back home for Sabbath to be home in Israel, so I decided to stop somewhere in Europe. And I had two choices, Rome or Paris, and apparently I chose Paris. It was fine. I had a great time with my cousins. Came back to Israel just to be informed that now I have to be quarantined for 14 days.
Wow.
Wasn't bad. It's a good experience.
I could imagine. I mean, it really forces you. Listen, I think everybody now being forced to really look within and to sit at home with no distractions. For you to have to experience something like this, after going and presenting, your father's Talmud, which is such a big deal. I want to hear more about about your father's work and why it's so notable that it's now being recognized by the Library of Congress in the U.S.
Okay, so actually the most unique thing is that the Congressman Elliot Engel, the one who presented to the Congress itself, not even just the library, actually put a proclamation in the Library of Congress and in the Congress about the Talmud. That's really a unique feature. As you know, all books actually printed in the United States have to be in the Library of Congress. So that's really not a big deal. The big deal was that actually the proclamation before. It was a thing that, in my knowledge, the first time in the United States that a country, and that says the United States of America, accepted Talmud as something is unique and significant that people need to enjoy and learn it.
Now that we're going through such a world pandemic, what is written, in the Talmud about plagues, viruses, things of this nature?
I can give the short version. I mean, reading a lot. I think the most important thing is that the idea is when a plague comes, a person has to do self-reflection. I am not a big believer in being God bookkeeper and know why these things happen, as God does not put me yet in his payroll,
right.
And I don't know why people happen. But I can tell you that this kind of time, again, after being quarantined also personally, it's really time to reflect, a time to see what we can do and what we can make better in our life, both in our very close-knit program as a very close family, maybe employees around us, workers, but really in our group, how can we make it better? Maybe it's time to really reflect on it.
Well, it's almost like God is forcing everybody to do that. You don't have an excuse to, I'm going to go outside instead of sitting at home and thinking about life.
Right. And there's more thing. Judaism in general, but even learning in Talmud specifically, it's really individual art. The idea is that, there's a place all for oneself to reflect on God, reflect on religion, reflect on family by himself, and find what he or she need to do to move forward. Not always we need the entire community. It's true that Judaism in general is a very happy religion, and we have a lot of our events are public.
Ones,
right. And you have Hanukkah that, we're going all the family together, and we have Purim that, it's all about the miracles and make it big. Yeah, but Judaism also have individual.
Do you feel that this process, people can't help but be changed in the way they view life and consciousness, the fact that everybody is going through the same thing in the world right now?
I really hope so, but as we know, things change all the time, and we do have amazing communication today, and the technology is outstanding. You can have a meeting with as many people as you want vis-a-vis all the technology outlet there, if it's whatever it is. You have plenty of ways to reach it. So I hope people will have time to reflect. You might actually find nice people in your life, your spouse, your kids. They might be nice people after all this time. But it is more than that. Part of the thing, the reason I like the Talmud or like our text is that a person can make a project out of deciding that now I'm going to finish one book. take one book and read it. I mean, if you want to take James Joyce, it'd be my pleasure.
Harry Potter, whatever
it
suits
is.
you.
But even Judaism, if you want to take the Talmud, it's true. The Talmud have 39 tractates. So pick the shortest one. It's 8 pages. Take you 5 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours. You finish it. The Bible is full of books that are long and short. We have the opportunity to read, look, and reflect, and even have some kind of victory and say, you know what, that's what I did in this time when I'm almost segregated at home, almost being alone. I have something to do. I can come up with something that I can reflect on. I can say, I came out of this victorious. It's very common in the Western world, also Jewish world, but the Western world, to make a decision, a New Year decision.